Hello guys, and today it is going to be a review on the T72AV. And is it worth it? Short answer, yes. It's a very good tank. Long answer, yes. But I have some things to tell you about it. So let's get right into it. First, I'm going to go over the armor and the specs about it, and then we're going to get into the gun and all of its modules it has, because being essentially T72A, but having more protection than a T72A, being more or less an in between. Well, it is an in between kinda of a T72A and a T72B. Now, it is not as protected as a T72B, but it will definitely get the job done. First, as I was saying, we're going to get right into the armor, and as you can see, there is a lot of ERA all over this thing, which is really good, honestly, because it does help. It will stop ATGM missiles, heat rounds, and will help occasionally against kinetic rounds. It adds a little bit of extra stuff there for it to go through. Also, you're probably going to see I'm going to shrink down this in the corner of the screen so you can see the gameplay going on in the background to get an idea of what's going on with it. So it's also all the way about half, well, a little bit more than halfway, I would say, down the side of the vehicle. And this is really nice because you accidentally overextend, or a light tank shoots an ATGM at you from flanking you, or whatever the case may be, and you can stop it. To get a better idea of where it's at, the composite armor, and all of that, I'll go into X-ray, and you can see it is also on the bottom. Now, it's not really going to do anything past a certain point, and your lower plate is a very weak area, and overall, your upper plate is relatively weak compared to T72B, T64B with the upgrade to the BV. But it is not like this thing is a glass cannon. It can tumble around a little bit, especially, hull down, as most Russian tanks are in this tier. It's pretty good. So this is contact one, which is like a first generation ERA, which doesn't really do much towards kinetic rounds like APF, SDS, and chemical. It does very good against that, as it was made to do at 370 millimeters effective against it. Now, these plates are 70 millimeters thick, so that being said, that's how you kind of get your protection against kinetic rounds, it adding that much on top of it. So your upper plate is RHA 60 millimeters, Textilite, and RHA at 50 millimeters. So your upper plate, like I said, isn't the super thick like that T72B or T64B. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but you get the idea. The turret, though, is where you get your stronger area of your tank that you need to be showing to the enemy. I really would not worry about, and if you're in your own battle rating at 9.7, really would not worry about much getting through it. Now, when you get up tiered, yes, I mean, there are some guns at 9.7 that can get through this, but it's mainly around the gun itself. And a lot of people at that tier are going to shoot right in here and hit your gun, and that is your weak spot right here. Or they're going to aim right here, which is another weak spot. So we'll go into the protection analysis of it, and we will use the good round for this, which is the 3BM42. Now it's going to be kind of hard to see. I have bushes all over it, but the upper plate, you're only going to get about 360, 70-ish. Some places it jumps, but it's kind of random. Now, when you go up to the turret, you can see as we get closer to the gun, it starts getting a little bit thinner. You go around right in here, you can go through it. And on this side, as you go out, it gets a lot thicker. So your gun's going to get taken out a lot, but the front of your turret is going to be relatively well protected, and the going hull down is where your strong point's going to be. Now, let's get into the gun, and you are going to have 4 rounds that you can fire, but I would really only worry about shooting 3BM42. You can carry high explosive if you want. I mean, you can use it for certain situations. Having 5.24 kilograms worth of TNT, it can be useful for certain situations, as in shooting the roof of a very lightly armored MBT, which will get you a kill, or wiggling it into the bottom of a gun mantlet on some MBT, which would also probably get you a kill. 3BM42 is the round that is mostly used on all of the Russian tanks of this tier, all the way up to the T80U, with the exception of the T90A, because it just got added and it got the 3BM42M. But this round right here has over 470 millimeters of pin at 100 meters, dropping all the way down to 248 at 60 at pretty much point blank. Now your velocity is 1700, which is really good. It is a very good long range round, and will pretty much take care of you and get you out of situations against being up tiered, because you have the round that everyone else is shooting in your nation. Now, beforehand, the best round that it got was 3BM22. Then it got updated, and they took the other, I think it was 3BM15, I think, and they replaced it with a 3BM42. So, what else do we got? So, this tank is also one of the very few tanks Russia has at this battle rating that has thermals, if I can, well, over here, that are 3rd generation for the commander and the gunner, which is a very big deal, because not even top ranking MBTs around this battle rating have that good of thermals. You have some of the best thermals in the, well, you do have the best thermals in the game, and you have them for both your gunner and your commander, which is a very big deal. In simulator battles, this tank will outperform other vehicles solely based off the fact that it has thermals, and they are that high resolution and they are that good. This tank is very good to use in simulator battles because of it shooting the 3BM42 and having that that 3rd generation thermal sight. Sorry, I stumbled over my words right there. I apologize. But we will get in onto the games that are going on in the background that you can see, and I'll take up doing commentary over there. So I will see you in a second. Alright, so I am back. Alright, so that was recorded a couple days ago, and I waited to do this because I had some gameplay that I wanted to put in here, but decided to wait and only do 2 games in it. This is a totally different way of me doing a review on a vehicle, and hopefully you guys can give me an idea of ways to do it better, how you would like to see it. I tried to make it short, but keep the overall length of the games in the background going on while I can explain about the tank. You get to watch it perform in the background and kind of come to conclusion on your own, instead of having to sit through me talking about the vehicle and then getting to see the gameplay of the vehicle. So what I was going to say beforehand, though, is that if you're a newer player and you're looking at a vehicle to get to help grind out a tree, I would not start here. I would start a lot lower, because that will teach you the basic fundamentals of this game, how it works, how uh, you can basically learn a tank's strengths and weaknesses earlier, and then have a better idea of what to look out for when you get up to this kind of battle rating. Now, if you have been around for a while and you're at this tier or around this battle rating, then I don't see a problem with doing it. It's just that there are a lot of people who will end up not even having the tree anywhere near researched to 9.7, buying this thing, not knowing how to play it, and dying and leaving the game, and that has caused me to lose a lot of games. Now, this tank is not bad by no means. It would have struggled a little bit beforehand before it got the 3BM42 round. However, it had third generation thermal sights, which is a big deal in and of itself. But now that it has this round combined with the best thermal optics you can get, and having a very, very good sight that zooms in very far, excuse me, does bring a very deadly tank to Russia at 9.7, and they already had a very strong lineup to begin with. However, they were lacking in the technology department, as in no thermals, whereas NATO tanks, they get them starting at 8.0 with the Bradley and tanks around that battle rating, and Russia was the ones who didn't. They've been more or less the ones that had a lot of armor, a very deadly guns. However, Germany had the speed combined with deadly guns and having more technology without having the trade-off of not having armor like the Russians did. And America was also kind of in that same boat. And as you can see in the video, that those bombs went off and picked me up and slid me back. But in this game, um, it was I had to go back because I wanted to get these very um, pretty decent games going on, and I didn't record them as they were happening. I went back into the replay, so if stuff looks weird, like stuff doesn't look as smooth as it would, that would be the reason why. I was, I had to record the replay instead of actually recording the game in itself. And also, for some reason, a helicopter was trying to capture this. And watch, I shoot the pilot in the face, and it didn't knock it out. Unless there's two people in there. I haven't played that helicopter before, but I would think that that right there would do a little bit more than just be a "Ow, you have shot me. Why have you done this?" But I'm having a really good time. I've had really decent games in this where I have been grinding out the Russian tree at the same time, and I have just gotten the T64B fully upgraded. And even if I was playing the T64A, which does not get the round that this thing or the T72B or the T64B gets, I still had a pretty good time playing Russia around this battle rating, and getting up tier to 10.7 right now is kind of an issue because lever 2A6 and T90, which you're not going to fight a T90 unless it's a game where every nation is against themselves, where you'll have America, Russia, Germany on one team and America, Russia, Germany on the other team. But dealing with leopard 2A5s and A6s in this isn't as bad as doing it in other vehicles, mainly because, well, you have a little bit of help, as in you have a better sight than most other vehicles around this year, and you have the third generation thermal sights where it can help you spot your enemies better. And occasionally you do end up blocking a pretty good amount of damage, or your breach or your gun end up eating it. And yeah, I've had really really good results in this vehicle as well, as in, I believe this game and the game prior. I specifically think this one I ended up getting about 160,000 off of the game with no boosters, solely because I capped so many of the flags and killed like 7 people, and that ended up getting me like 26,000 research towards T70 or T80, and that amount of silver lions was pretty insane, honestly, with no booster whatsoever other than having a premium account. But like I said, if you guys have any idea or thoughts on how I did this review compared to the ones that I've done before, let me know. I will change accordingly and think about doing them a different way or however you guys suggest to me. And I'm going to end up cutting the rest of this game off because it kind of dies out right about after this. So tell me what you think. Tell me how you like this tank and the new power update. Hopefully, you have had a good experience with it. I have been having fun with this update. They recently reworked the hull brake system, which is amazing. So, anyways, guys, I will talk to you later. Happy Thanksgiving, because this should be coming out on Thanksgiving Day. So, I will see y'all later.